I'm Cliff Thompson, working with the Friends of the Colorado River on ballot 7A, which we feel is the most important thing you face on the local ballot this fall, because it's about protecting the water, our water in the Colorado River and its tributaries across the western slope. And joining us are some people I'd like to introduce who will be sharing their perspectives on this measure, and they are the resident experts on the subject. And we'll have plenty of time for your questions at the end of the presentation. And if you're looking for additional information, the website for the issue is yeson7a.org. So first, I'd like to introduce Chris Treese, affectionately known within this group as the Enduring Water Geek, but better known throughout the state for his activities prior to his retirement. Exactly a year ago, as I've just learned, as the manager of external affairs for the Colorado River District. And Chris will provide a brief intro to start the meeting, and then we'll introduce the other presenters as they appear. And following Chris will be Christian Reece. Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Cliff. Yes, as Cliff noted, that it was just a year ago that I retired, and important to note that I am retired from the River District. This is my time. This is after a personally rewarding 28 years with the River District. I'm happy to volunteer my time, serve as the treasurer of Friends of the River District, because I believe in Western Colorado, the importance of water in Western Colorado, and the importance to the success of Western Colorado of the success of the River District. The River District has no stranger to challenges. We have fought, they have fought. I've got to learn to change my pronouns. The River District has fought for more than 80 years in the legislature, in DC, in the courts, in the engineering roundtables, on our interstate forums, for Western Colorado, and largely successfully. In order to continue that fight, they're facing another struggle that needs our help from outside the River District, and that's to increase their mill levy with a successful vote on ballot issue 7A on this November's ballot. That will allow the River District to raise their mill levy by 1/4 of 1 mill across the large 15-county geography of the Colorado River District. River District is here to protect and develop the water resources of Western Colorado, and in order to continue that protection and development, it needs the resources. The combination of Gallagher and Tabor amendments to the state constitution have conspired to cut their revenues significantly in the past few years, and look in the years to come to continue that decline. So they find themselves forced to go to the voters to request an increase. Never a good time, never a pleasant prospect to ask the voters to increase their taxes, but the River District Board felt that it was imperative and that it could not wait. So this November's ballot will ask the voters in order to continue to protect and develop Western Colorado's critical water resources, can the River District increase by 1/4 of 1 mill its mill levy? That'll raise about $5 million. Majority of that will be used for a partnership program that'll be locally driven throughout the 15 counties of the River District. That's the Yampa, White, Green River Basins, the main stem of the Colorado River Basin, and the Gunnison, Uncompahgre River Basin in Western Colorado. It's all going to stay locally. It's all going to support partnerships, and it's a critical. Several of those partners are on this call, and I'll turn it over to them, starting with Club 20's Executive Director, Christian Reece. Thank you, Christian, for joining us and supporting.
Of course. Thank you, Chris, for the introduction, for serving as Club 20's Water Committee Chairman for at least 10 years, probably longer. Appreciate your service to our organization. I think we all know that water is fundamental to building vibrant economies and healthy communities that make Colorado such a unique state that help provide for our competitive advantages. Water is vital to the Western Slope way of life. And as a nonpartisan organization tasked with representing Western Colorado, Club 20's roots have been nourished with the water from the Western Slope for nearly 7 decades. During this time, we've witnessed numerous attempts to divert or curtail West Slope water, and we've worked diligently with the Colorado River District to ensure that the Western Slope water stays on the Western Slope. We are excited to be able to be here today to lend our support for ballot measure 7A, a measure that will enable the Colorado River District to continue to prioritize productive agriculture infrastructure, healthy rivers, watershed health, and water quality, conservation, and efficiency. This measure will also allow the River District to protect agriculture and sustainable water drinking resources for our Western Slope communities. With state funds increasingly under pressure because of the state's budget challenges and the inherent variability of severance tax revenue, Club 20 supports establishing adequate, stable funding to support and maintain the protection and preservation of Western Slope water. As you can see here on this call today, water is not a partisan issue. It is an urban and rural issue. The demand for water is the greatest where the population is the most dense, but the supply is here in the rural parts of the state. We must balance the increasing demands of the Front Range with the economic, environmental, and agricultural prosperity that water brings to our region. Simply put, water is the lifeblood of Western Colorado, and we must fight to protect it. So we're asking everybody watching this, the reporters here today, to join us in fighting for Western Slope water and preserve the future prosperity of our region by voting yes on 7A. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Next up, I'd like to introduce Doug Monger, who's a 4th generation Colorado native rancher, a Routt County Commissioner, past president of the Associated Governments of Northwest Colorado, and probably lots of other committees. Thanks, Doug.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Cliff. So yes, and yeah, there is a war on Colorado water right now. So we have to, in the 20-year drought now that we're experiencing, that that we're reflecting on, we have to have a system and an institution that can come to battle for us, and that's what I believe the Colorado River Water Conservation District is able to do for us. So we need to be able to move forward with that. And I've been a roundtable member since its initiation. I guess I want to go into the revenue streams. So we struggled with Gallagher and Tabor and the effects of that on our revenue streams. We've seen when the oil and gas businesses were doing great and coal and energy was doing good. Well, the Colorado River Water Conservation District was doing great during those times as well. So we have a change in economy now with the especially with Gallagher, with the increasing residential populations and then the diminishing commercial applications for the funding of the river district. So, we the voters can determine exactly what we want to have. I don't really classify it as much as a tax increase, but it's an investment in our future. So we need to consider that it's an investment in our future, and an investment in keeping water droplets, here, whether it's environmental, recreational, agricultural, municipal, and industrial, this is an investment into making sure that we're keeping Colorado water on our Colorado lands in the River District scheme. So, we have a lot of big opponents right now too. The whole water world has escalated in its structure now. So now we're battling with California. We're battling with or you call it what you want. We're negotiating and trying to come up with a structure to make sure that we're protecting our water. And well, that, you know, by the way, that takes investment. That takes investment into our accounting, our legal, and our management, and it takes trips to be negotiating with our people that want our water. So I think that we need to continue. We need to continue investing in what, and as said earlier, and I'll say it again. You know, without water, we're a semi-arid lands, and we basically are. We're just going to be drying up here without the water. So they're going to be coming after our water. So the investment, I call it an investment and not a tax. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doug. And next will be Mike Ritschard, fourth generation ranger in Middle Park, who serves on the Grand Foundation, West Grand Community Education Foundation, Citizens for a Safe Highway 9, East Fork Mutual Irrigation Company, and I'm guessing some others. Thank you.
Cliff, thank you. I am Mike Ritschard. I am a fourth generation family rancher, landowner, and water right holder in Grand County. I am currently Grand County's representative to the Colorado River District. We have an opportunity in this coming election to support and vote for a mill levy increase for the Colorado River District. By passing the ballot question 7A, we are helping to fund local water projects with local money and resources that are vital to the west slope of Colorado. In Grand County, family ranches have most of the senior water rights that help keep wet water in the streams and rivers. To have a local funding source would be very beneficial to the family ranches as they look at replacing aging infrastructure, stream improvements for fishery, aquatic life, and water quality, and ways to improve the efficiencies of the senior water rights so they can be optimized in their use of irrigation, water quality, and recreational benefits. Other major projects like the Windy Gap Bypass or Connectivity Channel and the IVLK projects would be able to use this funding. This may be a tough year to ask for additional funding for water projects and protecting water for the western slope of Colorado. However, the need to protect, enhance, and improve infrastructure in the Colorado River Basin is not going away. Only the cost to help keep water in the west slope will continue to go up. Let's start the process now to help fund the projects needed to keep wet water on the west slope of the Colorado River Basin. Please vote yes on question 7A. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Next up will be Matt Rice, who is the director of the Colorado Basin for American Rivers. Thanks.
Thanks, Cliff. Good to see everybody. I'm Matt Rice. I'm the Colorado River Basin Director for American Rivers. We're a river conservation organization. Our mission in the Colorado River Basin is to restore and protect the Colorado River for people and nature. We strongly support 7A. The Colorado River has never been more at risk than it is now, the health of the river. 20 years of drought because of climate change, demand from cities outside of the basin, demand from states within the basin. We need a strong river district more than anything right now. Right now is the time to invest in a healthy Colorado River, to protect agriculture, to protect the environmental health of the river, to protect our communities, and to protect the recreational benefits of the Colorado River, which are huge, provide tremendous benefit to communities on the west slope. On the main stem Colorado River alone, river-based recreation contributes almost $4 million a year annually and employs over 26,000 jobs. Increased funding for the Colorado River District will allow the West Slope and communities in the West Slope to invest in projects that benefit the health and the recreational assets of the Colorado River and its tributaries. It's an opportunity that we cannot let go. We have to pass 7A. It's also an issue that brings people together. As Mike just mentioned, the IVLK project and the Windy Gap, we can see what we can do when we all work together to get something done. when you have conservationists, when you have agriculture, when you have water providers, when you have partners like the Colorado River District, all pitching in and helping to get big projects done to address some of the big challenges that we have in the future, that's the only way we're going to win. So I just encourage anybody that is going to listen to this to vote yes on 7A. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Matt. Kathy Chandler-Henry is a fourth generation Coloradoan, Eagle County Commissioner, Eagle County's representative on the Quantity and Quality Commission, member of the Ruedi Water and Power Authority, Northwest Colorado Council of Governments Economic Development District Board of Directors, board member of the Lake Creek Affordable Housing Corporation, and also on the FirstNet governing board. And what do you do with all your spare time, Kathy?
Worry about fires and COVID, right? Yeah, hi everyone. Seems to be a theme here of fourth generation Coloradans. And I think regardless of when you and your family came to Colorado, the water in the river is critical for all of our survival. This morning, Eagle County Commissioners passed a resolution in support of 7A with a resounding 3-0 vote and lots of voices in support of what the River District does. Eagle County is a mixed county where we still have some ag here, and we are heavily resort tourism based as well. Big environmental ethic and a big reliance on the River District. We're a headwaters county, and our water is under threat from Trans Mountain diversions, from some of the things that Doug mentioned, demand management. There are, threats to the water quality and to the quantity, both from folks east of us and folks downstream of us. I think the number is 40 million people who rely on the Colorado River water, 7 states and 2 countries. So those of us on the western slope of Colorado have a big job on our hands to protect that resource. The resort counties right now provide a big share of funding for the River District, and I think that it is it's a huge investment in our future. It's also a very small investment, and the amount of increase that we're asking for is a very small investment, up to $500,000. I feel like it's critical. The River District does such a good job of balancing interests of industry, of agriculture, of the environment, and of recreation. And those are 4 groups that have sometimes an uneasy alliance, sometimes they're on opposite sides, but through the River District, the mission is clear that the water protection is necessary. And I've seen firsthand the difference the River District makes when the fish in the west of Grand Junction and that stretch of water are suffering because the water's warm and there's not enough. They're able to release water from Ruedi Reservoir and help out that stretch of the water. Most recently, in the Grizzly Creek fire that we had here in Eagle and Garfield counties, if the River District had not been so proactive as to work with Xcel Energy and create this Shoshone outage protocol, I think it's entirely possible there wouldn't have been enough water in the river to fight that fire. So there's some real-time benefits for a very minuscule investment. I think it's an average of $2 a year per $100,000 of house value. So I don't think you can find a better deal anywhere. And I hope that people across the district will support this issue. I feel confident they will. It's a good value and it's a great organization.